Welcome back to In Between. This is the space where identity breathes, it takes a good breather, and where just spirit speaks, and where the stories we weren't raised with still find their way home to us. In this episode, I want to talk about something I've carried quietly for years. Now, it may sound like this belongs on the Red Road series, but I want to intermingle this with current life events. Recently, I have been called to do facilitations and to bring in my own unique survival tactics and spiritual mechanisms and learnings and wisdoms into a space that's very universal, right? Not traditional by any means. And part of me felt again like this nudge me because of how sick I've been dealing with the end stage kidney disease and having to navigate my way these good years of extended life not feeling enough. And I had to go back down to that root and dig it up and see what was going on, why I didn't feel enough, why we tend to feel like we're not doing enough when we're so sick, but not realizing the blessing, the medicine, walking through the illness and seeing it as an initiation back to the original knowing. This episode is called Young Elder, a calling, not a credential. Being called a young elder, an earth angel, an old soul. Even though I wasn't trained traditionally, even though I didn't grow up in ceremony, and even though my teachers weren't always just human, but spirit, but the land, the illness, and the creator. This episode is for anyone who has ever wondered if they still belong, even when the path didn't look the way that they were told it should. This is what it means to be guided by the creator instead of man, and the ways we find our way home, even when we weren't handed a map. Am I still me? Am I still enough? Am I still native if I wasn't raised traditionally? That's the big question, especially for those of us who are reconnecting. And for me, I was not raised, again, I will say it again, traditionally. Through ceremony, I didn't have the ideal traditional elders, guiding me. I grew up in Central Tejas, Texas, where indigenous identity is often hidden, erased, or fragmented. I learned through reading the land, the illness, intuition, not through man made instruction, no matter how many churches my dad's mother had me going around to because she couldn't even make up her mind on what she wanted to believe. Because indigeneity, in all, is lineage, it's memory, it's through the blood, not whether or not some sort of colonization interrupted your access to tradition along your bloodline. So, what does it mean to be called a young elder? It's not about age, at least to me. Ironically enough, it's not about titles, it's about being trained in a formal way that is informal. It's about the way wisdoms arrive in your body. It's the way that the creator speaks to you. It's about the way you hold space for others. It's about the way suffering has carved you into someone who can see. And don't have me wrong, some young elders are trained by humans and that's them. That's their walk. But some aren't trained by what the eyes cannot see. And now someone like me going through dialysis for so many years, I didn't realize that the illness was my elder. It was my teacher. All the things, all the joys, all the desires that I thought I had paid out for myself were just slowly, year after year, stripped away until I had no choice but to listen to my body. And this is what happens often than not. People run. When they're sick, they continue to run and they exhaust themselves. They run from what they think they already should be running to. They run away from. So, illness as the initiation, going through the final stage of kidney failure, which I'm at right now, I had just broken my body so down. and then turn it into an actual doorway. All the pain just sharpened my intuition, and all the medical crisis, psh, was the training of vulnerability that I needed. Didn't understand it at the time, but it was the training of the vulnerability that I needed that made me just so spiritually porous. Don't even get me started on my ancestors. They became closer when my body grew weaker, and how the Creator met me in the hospital room time and time again, and how the illness taught me things that no human ever could. So I didn't lose my indigeneity when I got sick. If anything, I found it. So this is to anyone in this instance where you come this far. I want you to be reminded that you don't need a tribal elder. You don't need a person, a medical staff member, a doctor, a family member to validate your connection to your own spirit, to your bloodline, to your purpose, to your reason, your why. No man can properly teach you how to read that. You build your translation each earthly day, each time you choose life, each time you show up. You don't need a lineage keeper to approve your belonging. And if one day you come across one, granted, one day, you have every choice to decide then. But because right now, and you're living on that threshold, and because life is mutable after all, you belong already. Because you are. Because your ancestors recognize you. Because your spirit remembers what your upbringing didn't teach. So, you are still seen, and you're still held in here, in the in between. You are fertile, you are holy ground, and you belong here. Thank you for listening. We'll meet in the next episode. Take care.